There is something so sweet about being at home and spending an entire week at home. This week, we focused mostly on resetting after a long trip, and it is obviously such a privilege and so fun to travel. But man, when I come home, I love just being at home. I look at our home with a new, fresh set of eyes, and the carpet feels so cozy and the bed feels so soft. I find so much joy in just getting the house back to normal, doing the laundry, going out, clipping all of the things from the garden. That was the main focus this week, just getting everything back to normal. While we were gone, there was a lot happening in the garden, so I wanted to give you guys an update. We are at the point in the season where every day feels like it pulls up a new bloom, and the pumpkin patch is getting so huge. We had to cut the vines off so that the vines could dedicate themselves to one pumpkin. And we've got zinnias galore. The basil that was planted, a month ago, I don't remember, is coming on so strong. And so we are at the point in the season where there is bountiful blooms, and it is getting hard to manage, but that is always just okay with me because it is still such a source of joy, and I am learning that gardening does not have to be taken so seriously. As you have probably noticed, my garden is actually pretty small, and it is always amazing to me how many bouquets you can get out of such a small space, and how you just don't need that much to get a beautiful arrangement on your table. Now, granted, we have a ton this time because we let them bloom for a whole week while we were gone, but I don't know, it's just such a source of joy for me, even though it is small. And so that is one of the things I do love about the garden. I am so excited to introduce to you guys today's video sponsor, Lumi. We went to Europe a couple weeks ago, and I used my Lumi deodorant the whole time and was never once self-conscious of body odor, which is huge because, as you know, when you are traveling, you are outside all day, you are sweating, you are in buses holding your arm up. I was never once self-conscious. That is how good the Lumi whole body deodorant is. I got the Lumi starter pack, which in my kit was the whole body deodorant in toasted coconut. I love how subtle yet impactful this scent is. It's not like, whoa, she's wearing deodorant, but definitely does not let any odor slip through. So I love that. Same with the whole body deodorant cream. I got the lavender sage. It's completely invisible and is super easy to put on and carry, especially if you're traveling. Same with the deodorant wipes. Again, super, super easy. I got cool cucumber, smells so good. And I also got the acidified body wash, which is designed to help control odor. And I got it in the scent Clean Tangerine. Lumi was invented by OBGYN Shannon Klingman and is clinically proven to block body odor all day and continues controlling BO for 72 hours. Lumi stops odor before it starts, and they have a wide range of aluminum-free products, which I love. It is skin-safe, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, vegan, pH-optimized to use anywhere on your body, and paraben-free. These are just some of the reasons why I love using Lumi deodorant. Lumi's starter pack bundle is a great deal for new customers. It comes with a full-size stick of the whole body deodorant and the invisible cream deodorant, along with 2 free products like the wipes or the mini body wash. All of that is shipped for free with the starter pack bundle. And just for my followers, Lumi is offering an extra $5 off when you order at bit.ly/Lumi-sunnydays and enter the code sunnydays at checkout. That's a deal of over 40% off. Thanks again to Lumi for sponsoring today's video. One of the things I love about getting to be a stay-at-home mom is that though there is a lot going on, at least with one child, I can make it as overwhelming or as not overwhelming as I want it to be. If the job for this week is to just get food on the table and do laundry, that's fine. If nothing else gets done, the house is clean and everyone is fed. So that is sometimes why I like to show really mundane tasks like laundry, because that's what was happening this week. And that is what my job was. And there can be so much joy just in the mundane of regular life. And that is such a blessing. And it did take me being at home as a stay-at-home mom to realize and see that. This is the exact same reason why I feel like I am able to create a lot of time for exploring a hobby, which is a huge source of joy for me. You guys know that I love sewing, and I am not shy about the fact that I am learning how to sew this year. I have made a few garments in the past, but not nearly as many as I have made this year, nor have I experienced hardly any of the techniques that I have done this year. I love that being a stay-at-home mom of one allows me to explore this hobby, and I really, really hope that I look back on this time where there's so much freedom and can say that I used it to the fullest. I hope I don't look back and say, what was I doing with my time? So that is one of the big reasons why I am able to explore and learn this new skill. I say all of that, and sewing has actually been kind of frustrating for me lately. I feel like nothing has been working, and there have been projects that I have done that I haven't recorded that just did not turn out the way I wanted them to, or the way that I thought they would, even though I felt like I was doing all the necessary steps to ensure that they would. And this project was no exception. So this is the point in the project where I learned that it would not work. So I stored it away in a Ziploc and decided that I could come back to it later if I wanted to. I do have more thoughts about that sewing experience that I want to share with you guys, but first, I want to show you what I am making for lunch this week. This is one of my most typical meals. You guys have seen it before. We are making roast tacos. Unfortunately, this is our very last roast, and we don't get a restock until October, which is actually pretty soon. But I wanted to make it the same way I always do, which is technically a barbacoa recipe, I believe, but basically it's just a lot of spices that I mix up ahead of time, and then I cut the roast into about 4 chunks, and then of course I coat the roast in all of those spices that I just mixed up, and we cook it in the Instant Pot. Whenever I put it in the Instant Pot, I add a can of diced tomatoes and a little bit of lime juice. The recipe that I follow technically says to not add any more liquid, but I just never trust that it'll come to pressure. So I do add more liquid and let it cook for about an hour. While I was dicing an onion for this recipe, which I do think I left off the ingredients list, also I put a whole diced onion in the Instant Pot with the roast and the tomatoes and such, I decided that I wanted to have pickled onions on hand. It's been a while since I've had pickled onions and I have been really missing them. So I just got out another onion, sliced it up, put it in a mason jar, and then I figured that as soon as I got my Instant Pot going, I could make the blend of sugar, water, and vinegar for the onions. One of my sisters talks often about having a flow and momentum in the kitchen, and I confess that I am not very good at that. I am definitely still learning how to cook, but that is something where I feel like the onions thing is just that. Like, I'm in the kitchen, I'm working, there's stuff already happening. Why not add pickled onions in really quickly? And I do think all of that comes with just knowing how easy that kind of stuff is. The more I cook, the less I have to Google while I'm cooking, and that has made such a big difference. Learning how to cook and learning how to sew have taught me that, as elementary as it sounds, and you're going to be like, yeah, duh, the more often you do something, the easier it becomes truly. It also becomes less overwhelming. I used to have to Google every single time I cook shredded chicken how long to cook it in the Instant Pot, and that is no longer something that I have to do. I now know complementary flavors and stuff like that. I am not an expert in any way, but I've definitely noticed a big improvement quickly just from cooking often. Now, I said I would come back to the sewing thing, and here we are. As for what I meant by everything being a little bit frustrating, I've definitely had some wins, but there have just been a couple projects lately where I felt like I did all the right things. I made the muslin, I used the right fabric, I took really careful care while cutting, and they still just didn't turn out the way I thought they would. And then the pattern I was doing earlier, I think I must have not measured correctly. Whenever I put on those shorts, I just did a quick try on halfway through. They were laughably small. So I put them in a Ziploc because I think they'll work for one of my nieces if I decide to finish them. So that is just one of the things about learning sewing that was probably a humbling experience that I needed, but it was still very frustrating. So I told my husband that I wanted to get back in the sewing room and make a pattern that I know will fit, that I know will work, and kind of reignite the sewing mojo. And this is why I chose to make the weekend chore shorts by Matchy Matchy. You guys have seen me make these shorts before. I love them. I wear them all the time. They are the blue gingham shorts that I think I was probably wearing them while I was making that recipe because I wear them constantly. And I even made some mistakes actually pretty big mistakes while making this pair of shorts. But ultimately, this pattern is one that I know comes together really easily, comes together so well. It is genuinely a joy to sew the whole time. And so that was a huge win, and I'm now feeling more motivated than I was before to tackle more projects. For the sewists that follow me, this is the Weekend Chore Short by Matchy Matchy Sewing Club. I've now sewn 2 of their patterns, and I loved them both. I have made both of their patterns in a medium, and they seem to fit really well. So if you're watching this and trying to get a size, I wear a medium in these shorts. I definitely have learned the lesson in sewing that the pattern that you choose is so important, and I'm trying to get better at choosing patterns that I know are tried and true by the sewing community. I have a couple coming up that I really, really want to make. Another one by Matchy Matchy as well, because I know that I love their patterns. So that's just my little sewing lessons that I am learning. It is definitely a skill that is easy to get started with, but I am finding is hard to perfect and is teaching me a lot about what it takes to get a garment from the very beginning of the concept all the way to where we wear it every day. And I feel like it's been a very valuable lesson for me. As always, I hope this video was inspiring to you as you learn new skills and tackle your homemaking this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.